Hello, my sunshine, and welcome to a new episode of the Hot Girl Morning Podcast. I am so excited to have you here. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to get over that fear of starting, because I know so many of us were waiting out there, waiting for this perfect moment, for all the stars to align to finally get started with this big goal, with this big dream that we already had for a while. And this needs to stop. So today we're talking on one hand about what are the reasons why you are so afraid to start, like what are the things that are in your way. And we're also going to talk about how to get over that fear and to finally get started and go for the life of your dreams. Yeah. So if you don't know, my name is Greta. I'm an accountability and empowerment coach. And on this podcast, I talk about all things personal growth, mindfulness, self-love, manifesting your dreams, and becoming the best version of yourself. So if any of these topics sound interesting to you, make sure to follow this podcast, rate it 5 stars if you really like it, and maybe send it to a friend if you believe that it would be helpful to them. But okay, little PSA. I have also like the video version of this podcast going on. That's always being uploaded over on YouTube. And I have a new setup. So I would love to get some feedback. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Well, I do like it. If you have been listening to my podcast for some time, you know that we have this beautiful tradition of sometimes taking this book and opening this up at a random page to basically give you a sign from the universe. This book is called Living with Joy, Keys to Personal Power and Spiritual Transformation from Sanaya Roman. And today we're just going to do it as well again. Okay, let's see. Ooh. What I have here is no quote and no affirmation, but it's the start of a new chapter, which is called Self-Respect, Self-Esteem, and Self-Worth. What is required to feel good about yourself is not the same from person to person. What you require for self-esteem is not necessarily what another person requires. It is important to discover what makes you feel worthy, confident, and happy about who you are. Self-respect at the highest levels comes from honoring your soul. This means speaking and acting from a level of integrity and honesty that reflects your higher self. It means standing by what you believe in. You do not, however, have to convince others to believe in it, and acting in a way that reflects your values. Many of you criticize others for not living up to a value system you consider right, but on closer examination, you may not be living up to it yourself. You have seen the person who is always telling people how they should act, but he or she does anything he or she pleases. Self-respect means acting on your values and what you say you believe in. Professing one set of values but acting from another leads to a lot of internal conflict. Okay, so today's chapter was about self-respect. Okay, I really like it. I hope this resonated with you in some type of way. Just a little tiny thing that I want to mention on the side. Yesterday, I was at the dentist. So the way I'm speaking might still sound a little bit weird because my tooth is still hurting. But we're going to get over that because we need to get over that fear of starting. As I mentioned to you in the beginning, I feel like a lot of us, like we're always waiting for that perfect time to start. And I think when I look back to my journey, to my history, I remember for years and years and years, there was this big chapter, that big topic in my mind of I just need to get started. I just need to get started. You know, I had so many different goals and dreams around my path. And I remember I got so stuck with that first part of even starting that I couldn't even see where things could lead me because I didn't allow myself to get through that first step. Because what I believed back then is I need to have it all figured out. I remember, okay, this is going to be really honest. I haven't shared this, I think, with a lot of people, but when I was in my teenager years, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19, I always wanted to become a YouTuber. And for years and years and years, I taught myself how to edit, how to make videos, or how to talk to the camera. And I You have no idea how many first videos I have created or maybe recorded and not even edited. Like, there were so many times where I was just like, okay, this is the script for my first video. This is how I'm going to do it. And I remember I always had this thing that first I had this feeling of I have to have it all figured out. I'm going to make the perfect plan of how often I'm going to post and what I'm going to post. And I have to write everything together and I have to know it all. And guess what? I never got started and I never got anywhere with these huge, amazing plans that just made me feel devastated because I just couldn't get over that initial fear of starting. And I know now so much better of why I was so scared about it, because I think when you're getting started, that is just such a vulnerable time. It is also that thing of, I don't know, this makes me think right now of basically riding a bicycle. The most amount of energy, the most amount of power that you need is when you get started. And this starting is something that can feel just so overwhelming and just so overbearing, and it takes all your energy away. And I think this is so much connected on one hand with the fear of failure. So you are so scared of whatever you want to start that you're not going to succeed at it. So instead of trying at all, you're just not going to start because then you haven't failed. I think I have said this quote on my Instagram before. It is something like, the most successful people in the world are the ones that failed the most because they tried also the most. So the more you will try different things, the more you will quote unquote maybe fail or realize, okay, this is not the thing for me. But trying will also help you figure out a direction. So there is this huge fear of failing. And I feel like on the other hand, there is this huge fear of, am I good enough? Am I enough? Am I knowledgeable enough? I feel like all the questions are always about enough, or am I too, or am I what? I am too old. I am too young. I don't know. Okay, there's just so much. And we need to start unpacking this, because we tend to sit here and we start to compare our day 1 with someone else's day 100 or 1000. Okay, what we need to start doing is, if you have someone that you look up to, if there is someone that really inspires you, they had a day 1 as well. There is always practice that you need to get more towards what you want. And you cannot and you do not have to expect perfection from yourself right at the start, you know? So there is this huge thing of, am I enough? I think the one thing that I was really struggling with when I got started with coaching was the thing of, I am too young. Who am I to talk to someone else and give their life advice if my life has been so short yet? And I think this is something, like, I am so grateful that I didn't let myself stop by this fear, because maybe for some of you, you're like afraid that you're too old, or you're also afraid that you're too young. But let me tell you, like, in general, my target audience or my ideal client that I work with or that wants to work with me is, let's say, in their 20s or in their early 30s or 30s, whatever it may be. I recently had a client that was, I think, around 50. And she was the freaking best human. And it didn't matter the fact that I am 25, but I was still able to help her in her journey. It is not about whatever age you're in. So we need to slowly start to unpack these fears that are holding us back. And I feel like there's this other big fear that is also very much there. And I feel like it is more towards that fear of being judged, that fear of being seen, that fear of what other people will think of you. And that is something that makes me so sad, because we have this one beautiful life that we are certain of. We have these beautiful opportunities, and we have this passion, and we have this idea. And let me tell you one thing, if this is your vision, whatever it is, if it is your vision, there's a reason for it. There is a reason that you feel passionate about this. There's a reason for it. And whatever you feel this kind of spark with, this interest with, this passion with, this is what you're supposed to follow, okay? And we need to sort out our friends or our people around us if you truly believe that they will let you down and judge you for it. And I know that, especially when starting something new, and people know you the way you were for a really long time, so sometimes change is something that will just take time. But please, for the love of God, do not let yourself stop by the thought of what will other people think of me. Because when we're really honest with ourselves, you are the person that thinks most about what other people are thinking of you, rather than actually how much people think of you and what you're doing. Okay? So we need to say officially goodbye to these reasons to not start. These reasons, all the way from fear of failing to feeling like you don't know enough, you're not good enough, comparing yourself with someone day 100, as well as this fear of what will other people think. Because life is too valuable, life is too important to hold yourself back by these reasons. It is just too important. Your passion, like, you are able to inspire so many people and help so many more people by being who you are meant to be, by following your higher self, by following the self that just feels this excitement. Like, I want you to go through life and feel this excitement. And I don't want you to ever be at that point of looking back to your life and asking yourself, was this it? Of thinking about your life and regretting the decisions that you have taken, regretting not starting and not trying. Because there is one thing that people may sometimes do out there, and they are judging people for not following through. But what I want you to do is I want you to get started. I want you to get started with that goal, with that passion, with that thing that you want. And if down the road you realize that this is not the path for you, and this is not what makes you feel good and what makes you feel excited, then so be it. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to quit. But what I will not allow you to do is not to get started. Not to get started because you think you're not good enough. Not to get started because you're afraid what others will think. Not to get started because you think you're too young, you're too old, you're too ugly, you're too beautiful, you're too whatever you are. Because you are meant to go for this path. And I want you to finally see this. I want you to finally see that a greater path is waiting for you. A greater path is waiting for you. And I'm going to tell you, really honestly, this journey is going to be hard. This journey will have some challenges along the way. All these things will happen. But don't live with that regret of not getting started. Don't be like I was a couple of years ago, getting so stuck in that planning phase of thinking I have to have first the perfect plan and know everything and do everything. No, I want you to get started right now. And this is something that I see so much that, for example, like I also work a lot with people who want to become coaches. And what I see so much also in this direction is people having the feeling that you have to first get every certificate on this planet to be able to help people. And I'm going to tell you one thing right now. There's so many people that are a couple of steps down the road and are not as far as where you are yet. And they will need your help. And sometimes you don't want to work with the biggest coach on this planet who got people like, no, I want you. I don't know how I can even. I hope that you're getting this feeling right now. I hope that you're getting this feeling in your fingers that you're just like, okay, I'm going to stop waiting because I cannot live with myself not to try. I want you to get out of your comfort zone. And yes, starting something new, starting a project, this requires you getting out of your comfort zone and you even questioning yourself, okay, what do I even need to get done? Like, what is the thing that we need to do? And that is just something that you need to face and that you need to get over with, because life is more beautiful when you are shining your light. I hope this pep talk was pep talk enough to get you to the point of starting. So now, what do you actually get started with? What I like to do is I like to ask myself the question, what is the easiest, fastest, and most aligned way I can get there? We don't want to get distracted by all these little tiny to-dos and tasks that will actually get us nowhere. What we want to focus on is really high impact moves. We want to create a ripple effect. We want to really, really get somewhere. So if you want to become a social media manager, if you want to become a virtual assistant, if you want to become a couples photographer, if you want to become anything, like think of what is it that you really need to do. What is it that will make you feel great right at the start, or make you feel the impact of what you're doing as fast as possible? Because this is one thing that I'm going to tell you. You want to focus on creating this impact as fast as possible, because once you see the impact that you can have on other people's lives, this will give you so much confidence. So all the questioning of, am I good enough? Or am I enough? Once you see the impact that you can have, this will help you so much with your confidence, because all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, I can really do it. I can really, really do it. So what is the fastest, easiest, most aligned way you can get there? And what I want to add to that conversation, really important about that question, is what is also the most aligned way? Because maybe there are a lot of different ways out there how you can get towards your goal and dream. But what you also want to think about, what is the way that feels good for you? Because there are strategies and ways to do things, and they just don't feel like you. And they don't feel good to your body and the way you like to do things. So this is something that you want to be considerate about. Also keeping in mind, is it right now that your fears are holding you back? Or is it that something truly doesn't feel right? So this is something always to be mindful of. So if you want to become a photographer, virtual assistant, whatever you want to do, instead of spending hours and hours on end on the perfect branding, the perfect website, the perfect social media post that then 3 people will like, what we're going to focus on, okay, how can I get a testing client? Because I want to test my theory. I want to get some feedback. Like, we need to think in different ways. We need to get outside. We want, like, if you need to approach people, like, go to a yoga studio, go where people are who are interested in what you have to offer. There is so much more to it. And of course, your first steps and the steps in general, they depend on what your goal is and what your dream is. So what I want you to do today is to sit down and to brain dump and brainstorm. And I want you to write ideas down of how to get to your goals, what you need to do today to get closer to your goal. And really think about like these high impact moves, like these things that will create a ripple effect. If you need to get yourself a bestie on the side who will hype you up to get there, or you need to talk to a friend about it, please do so. If you're unsure about your list of things that you could do or want to do, or if this is the right approach, this is what I would love to support you with. Like, you can literally just send me a voice message, a DM, whatever it is, and be like, hey, Greta, I want to reach this goal. Here are my ideas on to-dos. Are they good or not? Or what I also offer is like a 30-minute free call. So we can hop on a call and we can talk about your goals, because what I do in my business is exactly that. I help my clients get from A to B, from where they are right now towards their dream life. Because I want to help you to break it down, to get towards clarity, finding the clarity, first of all, where do you want to go? Then connecting to your vision, like what is it that you truly want? But then to break it down and to help you take the action, because I know from myself how hard it is sometimes to be in your own head and think about, what do I need to do? There's so many different action steps, feeling so overwhelmed. This is just a lot. And sometimes it's great if you have someone on your side who helps you exactly with that, who helps you break down your goal, helps you break down your dream, helps you with your mindset, helps you to rethink what is going on in their mind, helps you to basically write a new story for yourself. Because there have been all these limiting beliefs that you have told yourself for years and years, and we need to start to rewrite these. Okay, we need to start to create a new belief, and I would love to support you on that journey. I just have a couple of new one-on-one coaching spots that are opening up. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, make sure to reach out to me. As I said before, we can have a free call. You don't have to work with me, and I would love to have a call no matter if you would consider working with me or not, because I want to help people get towards their dreams. I want to see you fulfill your fullest potential. I want you to go for the life of your dreams. And I don't want that all these limiting beliefs that we're always surrounded by, that these are the reasons that you're not getting started. I want you to get started, and I would love to support you with that. So as I said before, you can just message me over on Instagram at greta.webhofer, at greta.webhofer, and you will also find the calendar link right below to basically pick a slot to have a free call with me if this sounds interesting to you. And in general, on Instagram, I'm trying to inspire. So if you want to follow me there. But thank you so much for being here. I am so proud of you, and it is time to get started. Bye.